Good evening and welcome to a new edition of To The Point. This evening we'll be discussing quite a controversial issue, and which is drama. Drama, be it TV series, be it cinema, is really an important vehicle for mobilizing public opinion, spreading certain information. It's a tool for public awareness. It's a soft power that is being used by different players to propagate certain issues. This evening on To The Point we'll be discussing the effect of drama, and especially in the Ramadan season, since this is the season whereby lots of people tend to allocate quite some time to following different series. We have quite a unique mixture this year, and the issue is, how can we utilize, or are we utilizing this drama to make public aware about certain important factors? Are we utilizing this drama to mobilize public opinion, especially international public opinion, in addressing certain critical issues pertaining not only to Egypt but to this region? With us this evening is Dr. Mona Arishi, who is amongst so many different things, CEO and founder of a number of women's NGOs, and she is quite a strong advocate of social responsibility. A pleasure to have you with us this evening.
Thank you very much.
Drama,
yes,
in your opinion, is it a powerful tool? Do you see drama as a strong tool to propagate different messages, different issues, different political positions? Do you see that?
Yes, definitely, because drama is like this is the voice of the society, and once you are able to bring this message to the large, vast audience, you are there. And look at how many people are there getting, to look at those pictures, and around the TV, all ears and eyes, waiting just for this to happen and listen to it. So definitely a very strong tool. And this tool also can be used in a very positive way or a negative way, because it depends on the how we are describing the message, and also then how we are receiving the messages, and also how we are liking the actors, the players, because this is a very strong influence on the way you are presenting the drama. I remember very well when I was young, the time in Ramadan we were around the radio, right? And then onwards we were, the mood changed immediately with the change of whatever we were listening to them in the radio. So fun, comedy, and then eventually it became more of like an information, informative type of radio, broadcasting, and then eventually it became the TV. And all along the years, Ramadan was very, very effective. So we can use this tool to spread and become really a very effective user of this soft power, or just let this become a negative way of affecting the public and opinion.
Let us look at drama in propagating different issues. Let's talk about, since you're founder of a number of women NGOs, then let's talk about the issue of women. Whenever the West especially looks at women in this part of the world, we're always regarded as second-class citizens, barefoot and pregnant.
Yeah.
That are handled very aggressively by men, not playing a strong role in society. I mean, there are certain stereotypes pertaining to women. She's weak, meek, and obedient.
Yeah, more or less. I think sometimes this is very clear in the drama, if this is where we are really discussing today. However, the opposite also is not a very nice message, because looking at the many like programs we look at the TV, sometimes the woman becomes very shrew, like a real shrew. She is affecting the family to the extent that it is affecting the marriages of her sons and daughters and so on. So both stereotypes are very negative. The idea is, how can we put this in the correct frame Because if this nice lady is somebody people loves, and she comes very strongly as a shrew, for example, the effect will be very negative, because they will like this negative figure. You see what I mean? And if I may, there were some also last year, some programs that were like that, with people who were doing some sort of, you know, let me say, not really straight activities, and at the end, everybody loved them. So the negative and the positive effect of such a drama and the outcome is so sensitive. And again, we are affecting the public. It's not just even in Egypt now. We are reaching all over the Arab world, and we are we've always been the Hollywood of the Arab world. It will not change. And I can see the effect of, even, you know, when we are having some words, it's used in the daily lives of our sisters and brothers in other countries in the Arab world. So having said that, I think we can always bring the balance between the positive and the negative and become really neutral in addressing the real issues in society, like, for example, with the women issue, and also trying to find a solution. And many films were landmarks in finding such a solution, like أريد حلا for Fatin Hamama. This was one of the main, let me say...
it's a classic.
It's a classic, and also it was a tool that eventually brought some of the laws of, you know, for the women in Egypt to a totally new era. I myself had benefited from this, and I was really thankful for such a film, even though it was very painful with Amina Riz and so on. We all remember that scene till today, you know, but that has changed the laws in Egypt. Look how strong the effect of this soft power. So if we are able to do the same and effectively bring an outcome to even with such a sad and let me say very depressive film, why not? Let's do that. Let's go for it, and bring women in the limelight in the proper way.
Youth. How is drama helping to build youth, and what is needed to ensure that we build healthy generations?
I will give you some snapshots of life in a typical, you know, in a woman in Egypt. Let's say middle class. So as I mentioned earlier, Ramadan for me was very around the radio, and the family was listening to that, and then after iftar we're looking at funny, you know,
soap
sort
operas.
of yeah, soap operas and Fuad al-Muhandis, and you know, I love that time. You know, fast forward then, we had Fawazir and all those nice riddles, and with Nili and Sharihan. That was also a nice way of spending time. And if you remember, at that time there were this many religious soap operas as well, right?
Yes.
So, and this, if you remember, at that time, this was like aligning the society as we go with the same. So the era was reflected in the drama. And then when we had that, I don't remember the name of the channel, thank God for that, but I remember when I had my son and daughter, I was very worrying, because I wanted to decode and encode some TV channels. And that was part of the raising of my children. I wanted to make sure that they are not looking at not the wrong films or soap operas.
But now you cannot do this with social media.
And then, even
there's
then,
no barrier now.
Yeah, but even then, I decided to let them choose for themselves, and that was another landmark in their lives.
Yes.
And my son and daughter remember very well that era, that I did never really ban them from looking at any channels, but my son himself did that. He decided to code those channels, and the passcode was with his sister.
Okay.
So you see the balance now between even the you know, the masculine and the feminine at home. So that was, I would consider this one of my success stories in raising my children, because both of them were very responsible. He was responsible in a way that he felt that this is not right for him, and tried to, through his sister, who's his friend, and you know, he would always try to look good in front of her, right? And she was taking care of her brother, even though she was the younger sibling. So again, another going forward, then we started to have the night, you know, those talk shows, and I love that, because we are presenting a point of view, and I think you here in Maspiro and everywhere, have the right, you have a very strong tool. You have something that can move all Egypt and even the world by using the right, let me say, media in whichever topic we want to discuss. You can bring that to life. So volunteering. It's not about women's rights. I mean, the rights are there, by the way, but it's about how the society is dealing with those rights. How we are, like you see, my daughter and my son,
Yes.
look, you know, together in this small community, acting very responsible.
What about political messages? I mean, some of the talk shows talk about certain ideologies, fanaticism, for example, or extremism. How do you see this reflected in drama, and how it affects not only society internally, but also the message to the outside? Because there are, for example, stereotypes pertaining to Islam, that extremism or fanaticism, Hollywood has contributed to nourishing the Islamophobia, for example. Are we doing something to counter this?
I cannot find that. Actually, on the other side, we are, to the contrary, we are supporting this Islamophobia. We need to bring the normal way of thinking. This is our lives. And maybe there are some fanaticism, so those must be under the limelight. So if there are some, and drama is also films, also of course on
Yes,
TV,
of course.
but also in the films. So if you remember, Irhab wal Kabab was not really about Irhab. It was about a very big message in the society, and people were upset, but they linked that to fanaticism, and then onwards and so on. So if we take landmarks of those political manifestation of the opinion and the ideology, you would find that the Egyptian films were very, very strong. I love the way they handled that. I think last year also there was this very strong soap opera. I think, I don't remember.
You don't want to go into names.
Right. I
Yes.
don't want to go in details, but then again, it was a very good soap opera. I loved the way it conveyed, you know, many messages about our society, about the society in the outside world, how Egyptians are as expats, conveying many, many messages that brought some, you know, discussions in the family on the iftar table.
Yes, yes, yes. Drama is a tool that maybe propagates social responsibility. Social responsibility in terms of building, social responsibility in terms of respecting others' rights and knowing one's rights.
Yeah, and responsibility is, I think, a key word here also, because it does not only, you know, it's like you are a responsible person alive, walking, talking, you know, walking your talk, and whatever you're doing is responsible. So even throwing a, you know, a paper, or taking care of the plants in the street, or being very, very soft with the animals, the strays. For example, your water does not spill everywhere, and you are very conscious of your environment. All this is responsibility. Social means that we are responsible for not only for ourselves, but for the society. And the society does not end where my door closes. It just starts, actually.
Yes.
So having, and by the way, I have worked with so many volunteers in Egypt. I am very proud of those young people who are now they became, by the way, in you know, positions, because they, as responsible people when they were young, because they were volunteering for their community, they are now very successful in their jobs. Because this had carried on, and now it's paying back whatever they had, you know, put in their own investment in the personality, in the education, in the efforts they brought to their society. And I believe the economy and the political arena will benefit more and more if we continue to encourage the volunteerism in Egypt. And by doing so, maybe some soap opera next year will talk about that, how we can build something based on volunteering. I haven't seen this really in a lot of drama, even though this is a reality on the ground, by the way. And I met one of my best friends in one of those activities. She's with me till today. I consider her like a daughter of mine, and I believe that I'm very proud of having her. So you see how it even brings people together. Because we are attracted, like, you know.
So you think drama should propagate the concept of volunteering to build society?
In general, social responsibility. So when you look at a nice, you know, scene, and you see somebody, you know, picking a paper because he doesn't or she doesn't like the way it looks, or making sure that the garbage is not there for somehow, that would be really some, like, you know, inferred messages that will come in the subconscious of people and continue to build up the character onwards. So we can, even without mentioning it up front, we can bring in subliminal messages that would be positive. Yes. Please. We are not talking here about selling any product. We are talking about selling a positive idea that is already there on the ground. And many economies like Indonesia, like Malaysia, had used this volunteerism to build up their you know, society onwards on the economical and entrepreneurial level. So the entrepreneurs who are used to be volunteers before, they become very strong entrepreneurs because they know many skills, because when they were volunteering, they learned that, and then when they started opening their own companies, they used this skill and became even conscious of their society. And there is a social business activity now ongoing in Egypt, wonderful, for sustaining the environment, for maintaining. I know of many ladies who cook for stray dogs.
Yes.
For example, and they are getting money for that.
Drama and good parenting.
Yes.
How is drama propagating or spreading awareness about good parenting, and how is it affecting good parenting?
Right. So there are two ways that you can give a message: by showing how positive it is or negative it is. So we can bring, and as I mentioned, it's very important that when we are, the character, the role is played by who. If this is a person that is really loved and by the public, we should be careful of the messages and the role they are playing if we are trying to convey a real message within this drama. So for example, and again I'm going to mention my son and daughter. I was always reading and understanding how to deal with teenagers, how to deal with growing children, how to be very, you know, treating them equally, a boy and a girl, and very near to their, you know, their ages are very near to each other, same school, having the same society and friends. So that was a very sensitive topic for me. Having said that, I think I have learned from, unfortunately, soap operas not from Egypt.
Yes.
And if we are able to do so, again, this is part of the responsibility aspect. Because parenting is, you know, I'm an advocate for women, right? So the woman is a mother, the woman is a sister, the woman is a daughter. And on all her roles, she is a change agent.
Definitely.
She will bring change to the society.
She's a catalyst.
Absolutely. And a very soft catalyst. People will believe her, will listen to what she's saying in a very nice way, and she can change. So if we are able to bring those messages to mothers, and of course, hopefully also the fathers, parents, I would say, that would be lovely. And the message that we are hearing now more and more in the media is the father is irresponsible, the father doesn't care about the children, the father would abandon his children, and so on. There are a lot of people doing so. So this is not, let me say, an example that does not exist. But we should also promote how a good marriage looks like, how a healthy home would look like. Because sometimes children do not know what is a successful marriage.
Is it that people think that good news is no news? I mean, it's drama. You have to dramatize. You have to make things emotionally captivating.
This is the skill of the writer, right? To bring it in a way or another, maybe in a comedy, maybe in a stand-up comedy. So I think it's very important, not just to, so we are here educating the society. And it is about spreading a message, very subliminal again, and conveying, and because really, I just said something very important. Some people, some children do not know what is a successful marriage. What does it look like? Because they have been raised by a single mom or a single dad, mostly a single mom. I have to be very specific here. What is a successful, how would a girl find out. I found my parents very, very, happy together. They had like they were playing an orchestra together. Everybody doing his own role.
Yes, they complement each other.
Softly, and the mom, the dad, very open, by the way, both of them, but still working in a team. So this is what we miss. I think if we just put those under the limelight, as well as the negative examples, which are there as well, and maybe put those under the negative lights and put those under the positive and convey it. People do not know what is a successful marriage. Believe me, I listen to many, many young people because I'm working with this generation a lot, and I listen to them, and I love what I'm hearing.
Some producers would say, well, it doesn't pay. It's not captivating enough.
Yes.
I mean, if I do a movie with all those happy messages, where's the drama? Why would someone come and watch that movie? Why would you? I mean, when there is a mystery, when there is action, you really follow up the series for I don't know how many shows, or you sit and watch this movie for a couple of hours. But good news really is quite bland.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And then again, I'm going to give the same answer. It is the skill of the writer if they really want to look at that. The producer, I would not really have that, because they are really looking for the money.
For the money, they're investing. It's an investment. It's a business.
But then, if we are publicizing that more and more, and they will find. I'm always saying, in business even, what's in it for them. So we should have something in it for them somehow, because if I'm starting to think, and I can be very creative about it, we can find many solutions. But this is not an excuse for spreading out negativity in the society and bringing us to a dead end. This is not at all an excuse.
The happy endings in drama, will they be attractive, in your opinion, or credible for the younger generation?
No. For the younger generation, no. They are very down to earth.
Because this is the future.
Yes, they are very down to earth. And let's face it, because my son and daughter are 25, 26 years old, both of them. So what have they seen during their lifetime? So born nearly the end of the 20th century and onwards. They have seen many controversial activities in and big events in their lives, starting even from the year 2K, this very big scare, ending with a pandemic. So, and you can count in the middle how many wars, how many blah 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 happened in the middle. So we cannot blame those generations of being such a pessimistic generation. And even the younger ones, Generation Z, I think will be more pessimistic and forlorn. That is why I always love to encourage volunteering, because I believe that this is something that is connecting them to reality in a positive way, because they are trying to help and improve and solve and add to their skills. Even though they are not getting enough education in their universities, they can find additional support from others in this, because they are doing a service for free. And by the way, they are learning, and by the way, they are benefiting their society, and by the way, they are building their future. So I'm coming back to this point more and more. I know that I'm repeating myself, but I see this as one of the real lifelines of the society, to depend on our young people and change their perspective. And whatever they are looking at, their aspiration is very negative. We need them to look for something and be players. And I think what we are doing, preparing the new generation, young people, attending the conferences in Sharm el-Sheikh, I love that personally. My son was one of them, my daughter was one of them. So it is something that they were very proud of.
Yes.
And even if they travel and learn and get their education from other countries, they will never forget those moments.
Yes. The role of drama in mobilizing decision makers, role of drama in changing laws and regulations.
Okay.
Is it an effective tool in your opinion?
I see that as a very effective tool, especially when coupled with social media. So such apps, like somebody is repeating words and they spread, like really, really spread. And if the message is something that is worrying the society, this could be a very important tool, right? So we can bring this drama and plus social media, because it happens, you know, it's not that, it's not our choice. This is how the younger generation now is dealing with them. They take shots of those soap operas, films, sayings, whatever, and then they use it in a very funny way. So if we bring a positive message there, and it gets repeated and repeated, and it becomes really, you know, they catch, then why not? And by the way, yes, I believe that, and even before that, so Uridu Halan changed the laws. That's a fact. And now we are going for the next level. And I think the next level is how we are treating, you know, the society is managing how they are looking at the women. Because at the end of the day, the stereotyping brought by the media, the drama, outside world, is affecting how we are thinking. And if we can maintain that and just jump over this blocker, I believe this will be a very good start for a new generation, because again, the young people are very negative.
Media or the role of drama in propagating certain messages to the outside world. For example, we've had soap operas over the past few years that have been relating certain parts of our history.
Yes, yes,
Especially our recent history.
yes.
Events that have changed the political scene in Egypt.
Okay.
Has drama, in your opinion, been contributing to clarifying certain issues?
Yes, and also in building trust in the Egyptian character itself. Because when, for example, I mean, like the espionage, very strong too. I can mention the names, I believe. Rafat al-Haggan, for example, as a soap opera. Even the music is classic, and now everybody listens to this music and immediately links it with a success for the Egyptians. And that is not, I'm not talking now about within Egypt itself, so I'm talking really worldwide.
Yes.
And this is something that is played as in orchestras all over the world. And because you are talking about drama, I will just sidetrack here a bit and talk about somebody like Farah Dibani. She is at the opera solo, and she is in Paris, and she's been recognized across. And by the way, she is the daughter of one of my colleagues in school. So I'm very proud of her. And I think that this is a role model of how can a young lady, she's the age of my children, a bit older, but I mean, she's there. And she is such a proud person of her society and her culture and her background.
Yes.
And she always talks about Egypt anywhere she goes. And she's having Dalida as one of her, you know, role models as well. That is something that is considered drama, because it is, again,
It's
an
an
opera.
art. Yes.
And you look where we are. So absolutely, absolutely, we can bring a lot of messages to us, the outside, political, and even about our culture. This culture also is a soft, you know, this is a very soft, strong,
Yes.
non-ending, you know, resource for our society here. Egyptians are, they cannot be otherwise. I mean, we are Egyptians.
The language barrier.
Yeah.
Because when a movie is produced by Hollywood, most of us in this part of the world are bilingual. If we don't know English, we know French. I mean, this
True.
is
So true.
this part of this region. I mean, most of the people are bilingual, so they manage to understand. Yet, most of the people in the West are not bilingual.
We can have subtitles. I mean, there are films, and there is an Oscar especially for foreign films. We should be there. Our films should be nominated there. And we should have a point of view. We should have an opinion. It could be very transparent. And by the way, there are sometimes that it happens that it's so local and so, you know, let me say, revealing that people don't like it. Okay, that's fine, but that is reality. However, we need also to balance that. So we need to reach the international arena with our drama in a way that is local but positive as well. So we don't need to be revealing or talking, you know, like we are gossiping about our own backyard, and then that is why they are choosing those films to appear in their Academy Awards and so on. So again, we can go and reach there by subtitles, by bringing something, Naguib Mahfouz. So all his
work.
books are very local.
And they've been translated.
And they have been translated, and people boast that they have read those. So I don't think this now is a barrier. I think it's just how we need to be there. We need to be producing for such an audience. We are not. We are looking at our feet. You said it yourself. The producer wants money immediately. How come they would be looking for an Academy Award, or changing the opinion of the
In your opinion, what would you like to see in the media or in the drama, so that it really acts as an effective tool for advocating social responsibility, which is what you're a strong believer of? So what tool do you want to see in the drama to help you carry your job?
I would love to see a soap opera talking about the Egyptian house, the family, daily family, and bringing the reality in perspective with a positive twist. So, for example,
not the negative drama.
With a positive twist.
Okay.
So we see the people, we cannot lie here, but there are families. The man is really dedicated to his house. They want to his home. He wants to educate his children. He wants to improve the level, the quality of lives. He is really a person, when somebody asks him, his neighbor needs his help, he will be there for them. He is raising his children, men and the young boys and the young women equally. They do not have any discrimination. The woman is treated well. He is not, like screaming at her or, bad words, using bad words at home. We don't need, if it happens, by the way, this is not an unusual place. We have those. It's not like it's a miracle. But then why aren't we seeing this soap opera daily? But we had that, by the way, a couple of them last year or the year before, with a twist, a comedy twist, but still not conveying the message I would love to, refer to with my volunteers and say, okay, young ladies, see, this is what I would like your home to look like when you are married in the future.
What message would you be directing to producers or writers? Okay. What's their role?
Right, okay, so the brains of the young people here and all over the world have matured a lot. They are looking for things that are body, mind, heart and soul. They understand very well spirituality. They understand very well well-being. They know their rights now, more and more. They understand what is quality of life and they're seeking it. So why don't you try and bring something of that sort and have a wonderful player, somebody with a real name, real footprint, somebody who is having a point of view himself or herself into those movies, and you lose one, you gain one. Maybe this one will bring more money and then we are all happy. So I would say we need more of those, and we need somebody with courage to take the initiative and bring this into reality.
Producers that are seeking the benefit, the financial benefit.
Yeah.
Can you mix the financial benefit with a strong contribution?
Okay, I told you I can be very creative, or anybody can be very creative. We can think together on who is the persona of the audience looking at those films, dear producers, and what do you want to achieve yourselves. So we can have a win-win situation. I can facilitate for them a workshop, and on that workshop we can bring all the personas, including themselves, to win, and maybe even have an award as an objective. And let's see. Again, I'm very much of a risk taker on that dimensions. I can volunteer to help someone to do so because I think it's worthwhile to do such a thing. It could be maybe like somebody who started the era of الواقعية, for example,
Yes.
realism. And then your name will be forever in history. You have already a good bank account, so that's fine. Let's now change that and even add to you another title, the initiator of a film that has changed the society. Let's try for that. Let's go for that.
Dr. Mona Arishi, thank you very much for joining us this
Thank
evening
you.
on To The Point.
Pleasure.
I'd like to thank you, the viewers. Wish you a very pleasant evening, and we'll see you same time next week. Until then, good night.